Okay.
Steve, because usually we can't hear him.
Yeah. Don't adjust your time. Turn your volume down. Do they know, Doc? They don't know about. Oh, we're live. Okay.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello, world.
Hey, world.
Thanks, everybody, for showing up. We got another week of Bill and Ammon's Bogus Hangout. Anybody that mentions AI or Chat GPT from here forward has to put $1 in the cuss jar.
I got a 50 right here.
Yeah.
Pay in advance, huh?
I need to go to the bank.
I am so tired.
Escrow.
I mean, the next thing we've got coming is AI bath towels and AI toothpaste. That everything else has been aired. God, wearying.
Wow.
I just kind of skip all that stuff.
There was are we going to introduce ourselves? And I'm going to make a quick announcement too, Doc.
Sure.
Okay.
Why don't you kick it off, Terry?
What I told you before. So I've been doing this podcast for a long time, but I'm pretty sure I might drop in once in a while, but it won't be a regular thing for me anymore. I'm kind of done with I'm not in a good place as far as SEO though, let's say. After 28 years and I think giving back a lot more than I ever got. I wouldn't say attacked because the guy was too big of a coward to actually call me out or admit to it that I was the one he was speaking about, which bothers me even more because he's just I'm not going to grace it. And another person came on about some other stuff too a while back, and I know Bill was getting constantly bullshit from these kind of people, and I got better things to do now.
Well, it's unfortunate that a lot of that garbage goes on in this community.
Look, when it comes to SEO myths and that kind of stuff, I've always tried very hard not to spread myths and I call people out for doing it, and that's why I've always been very, very careful about it. And what I was called out for was just a fucking troll move. Sorry. I'm talking about SEO future proofing using the QRG, which how long did we discuss that in the dojo? And
Christ,
you
over a decade ago, I think we were already looking
since
at the
it came
QRG.
out, I have followed it and looked to it for information. Like, they don't have to say, okay, authorship is important when they say to in a QRG, right, that we now want you to make sure that there's easy to put it in short. We want easy access to author information so people can verify who's writing this. Okay, it said that right in the QRG.
Well, I think what a lot of people lose sight of the fact that why the QRG crew exists. They're trying to see via the QRG input how well is their algorithm delivering what they expect it to deliver. Okay, right. So if they're saying make sure that you're seeing XYZ, that means that they expect that the algo is supposed to deliver that.
Yeah.
Which that does not say this is a ranking factor. It doesn't say that it's a heavily weighted factor. It simply says it's something they're interested in. To me, it has always, since the first time I ever heard of the QRG, it was a good way to get a feel for what Google is probably looking at, whether they've made it part of their ranking today or not. They
Right.
may just be simply deciding whether it's worth using as a ranking factor or not, but it's something that they're looking at. And if that's not important to you as SEO, McDonald's is hiring.
Well, no, you're doing Google SEO then, because all you're doing is following what Google says to do. I can tell you, and probably everybody on this panel will tell you, if you only do that, you're gonna have a real tough time in niches where it's very tough,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And the thing was too, I looked at it's hard to say this. Let's just say that some of the people who were participating, they were probably in public school when I was doing SEO. So to be called a SEO myth guy, and obviously don't know me because SEO Pros was trying to save consumers from that stuff, and I was the first one to ever, I think, call out other SEOs on a website with my Spandexer's Hall of Shame. Just saying that let's just say part of the reason I'm kind of going away is I'm very disappointed in where this went, having been there like you guys from almost the beginning. To see where it is now I'm disappointed.
Well, the only thing I would say to that, Terry, is that you got to remember the fact that you're talking about two individuals, okay? Now, certainly there's more than two out there. I know it's something we see a lot of, but there's also an awful lot of good people out there that are as concerned as we are about not proliferating myths, about not seeing clients taken advantage of by fly-by-nights. And, so it's you're looking at a relatively small percentage, I like to think, of our community. But I understand, sometimes you just get up to here with it and you don't want to put up with this crap anymore,
Well, I don't know. Like when a guy like Bill can't get respect from these people, what does that say about them? What he let's drop this.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I hope that
I'm gonna miss you guys. So
I hope that something happens to change your mind, but I respect your.
well, I also
position on
think SEO's going to hell in a fucking handbasket.
Well,
Yeah, we'll talk about it
The
later.
thing is, Terry, without guidance and leadership from people
Yeah,
like
but I did that for
Is-
28 years.
Yep, and I
deserve
understand why
fucking
you're
respect.
tired of
I'm
it,
sorry.
but the world needs it, and they
Well,
need
these-
you.
Well, I ain't gonna go there, but just say it doesn't surprise me that these were younger people.
Mm.
Put it that way.
oh well.
Yeah,
I fluctuate between thinking, hey, this guy's not worth listening to, just blow him off, or hey, where can I UPS a small explosive package? I just maybe those are two extremes, and for the NSA who's probably listening to this, I would never go to that second extreme.
well,
No,
but
it's
I-
a large explosive package.
But I can daydream about it.
there's one guy who was
A large explosive.
back. Basically not really supporting me, but basically saying that he didn't have much to call that on.
Oh,
Like I said, I told you what I did, and we did that for years in the dojo.
and it worked.
Before the medical alert, right, Steve? I read that authors, they're going to be, pay attention to authors. So I looked at a Your Money, Your Life site I was doing. And first thing I did was contact Mr. Morris, who was working for a WordPress tool company, and asked him how I could quickly get a bio and byline on all my WordPress posts on a site that we all know because I worked on it for years, but they didn't want authors' names on stuff. So,
An attitude that I think has changed 180 degrees.
oh yeah, yeah.
It
Now,
just took a while.
especially on a site where you're trying to rent, right, your money. And
Well-
we were writing stuff like, to get businesses to come to Canada, etc. Set up business here. So, yeah, I did that. But the next thing that happened was then the Medica update came. And what was that all about? That's when the eat shit really started to hit the fan, and authors was one of the things that they were looking at. So tell me if, I was out of line and extrapolating the guide to, putting that stuff on my site, and, the Raiders guy, the Sistrix winners and losers. I looked at that thing for months, Doc, literally months. That happened just shortly after I retired, I believe. And I spent, I was staying offline and stuff, but I looked at that and reviewed every one of the sites that were listed there. So it's not like I didn't try and verify what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Well-
that's where we've come to. And the guy was crying for Google to tell him exactly what they looked at. Yeah, they're
Well-
really going to tell you that, bud.
Well, what's funny is I've seen
Okay.
some of these clowns that are out there making a lot of noise because they're trying to attract attention and build a reputation and whatever. And to see somebody that's trying to go that route, hiding their identity, that's just a whole new level of stupid. If this is really what your goal is, well, were any of your siblings born alive?
Yeah, apparently it's for, he wants his privacy. Wow.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Well, if you're going to make
And
stupid
yeah, and
statements,
yeah,
hiding your
one of
identity
the-
isn't a bad plan,
One of the other things that they were hinting at is lots of times I've said, I don't use Google, Gmail, and anybody who sends anything in Gmail regarding their links are exposing themselves, right? Well, look at the privacy policy. That tells you they can look at anything they
Yep,
want.
it's a
If
fact.
you're guarding people's information, right? You're guarding people's information, right? That's why. Now, sending a picture of it, that isn't that smart either. Right?
Yeah, it's not like
It's
they've ever
they
even,
can't it's like they can't scan anything.
yeah, it's like they've never
Millions
had
of books.
had the ability to identify what a picture is about.
Yeah, yeah. Or scan it and the words on it. Yeah.
Well, it's like now anybody who's got an iPhone or an Android can add a quick app to their phone that they can scan a handwritten note and get a PDF output of text characters, okay? Fonts, not a picture. They'll actually determine what it says and convert it to text. So, gee, do you think maybe in 1994 or so, Google might have already been thinking about the ability to identify what was in a damn image?
Well,
Oh, well, but people are amazingly obtuse sometimes.
Well, the guy wants that kind of privacy right down to where he doesn't have a website on his Twitter account. So there's no way to know who, if you do a search and try and find any information on the guy, to know what he knows and you know, etc., which is, you know, I do it all the time.
I can
All
guarantee
I
you
could
somebody,
get all I could get was Twitter. So,
all I can guarantee you one thing, Terry.
well,
There's one entity out there that knows who the hell he is.
yeah. Anyhow. So,
Whoa. Moving on to another topic.
yeah.
Sarah, introduce yourself.
My name is Sarah Altair, and I'm a writer and write articles and other things for people who are building their online presence.
Stefan?
Steve Gretzer. I am one of the founding partners for Web Narwhal.
And I'm Doc Sheldon. I'm one of the other founding partners for Web Narwhal.
So, did you guys hear the big news out of Bing last week?
Which?
Some folks over at Wiz.io managed to gain access to the live search results and update them in real time through a configuration error in default Azure installations. As proof of this, he did a okay, first of all, the guy's name is Halai Ben Sassan, and what he did is he found out that one of the default settings when you install Azure allows you access to other group Azures, and he found one called Trivia, and it turned out to give access where he could upload new data for like best soundtracks. The original number one was the soundtrack to Dune. So out of curiosity, he wanted to see if he could change it to Hackers, and he did. Real time.
Wow.
Oh,
Figured it all out, changed it back to what it was, contacted Microsoft. Microsoft released a 0-minute patch and popped them with a $40,000 bug bounty. So, you know, that's cool.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and I'll put some links up in the show notes, or have Doc do that in a bit. But there's if you do a search for Bing Bang, all one word, you should find all kinds of cool information about this.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Active Directory stuff is heavy. I'm not an administrator, and I know that's bad.
My question is, since, I mean, this guy did the right thing, and he didn't publish the information until he contacted Microsoft and they released a patch. But what he discovered was so easy to discover.
And how long ago was somebody? Yeah.
How long has this been going on, and how much data has been compromised?
That's unreal.
Yeah. I think it's in a lot of ways, it's kind of awesome. And I am baffled that he has not got, I mean, yes, his tweets had over 3 million views and over 3,000, retweets and all that stuff. At least that's where it was a couple days ago. Let's refresh the Doge.com account, because it's now Doge instead of Twitter.
I don't even want to give that to
Oh no, I flat love. I think it's hysterical. I think all that's funny. But yeah, that was a very kind of big deal.
Yeah, you think? Unreal.
How many people out there are running Azure and Active Directories?
If I was that capable, to be able to even think about becoming a hacker, I can't imagine it even considering the possibility that Bing or Google would be penetrable. Yeah, I mean, you'd think that they would have some levels of security and that it would just be, federal government level stuff. But then the federal government's been hacked on occasion too, so maybe that doesn't mean that much.
So a part of their research was they went ahead and scanned the internet for exposed applications, and they found that roughly 25% of all multi-tenant apps were vulnerable. That is a huge number.
Yeah,
That's
no kidding.
big.
And you follow that up with what was it? One of the plugins for WordPress last week was compromised. Dang it, now I can't remember which one it was. Oh, Elementor Pro.
Which one again, Steve?
Elementor Pro was
Oh, yeah.
compromised.
Well, that's not the
There's
first
only
time
a
for
couple
him.
of people
The
using that.
destroyer.
There's only a handful of people using that plugin, and
Oh, yeah, really.
yeah. So
First time I used it, I said, yeah, this has got to go.
yeah, it's I like builders. I really do. They make life so much easier in a lot of ways. But you still have to pay attention to your plugins. You still have to update things. That's one of the reasons that our company, when we do hosting, it's all managed hosting. We don't let clients manage their own hosting because they don't follow the security notes. They don't do the updates. And when their website gets crashed, they have to pay 3 times as much money to have it either fixed or rebuilt.
Well, plus an awful lot of those hacks that get in through them, but once they're on the server, they get into everybody else there,
Right.
so yeah,
Yeah.
we're very, very close on that. We don't let just anybody host on our servers.
It costs a little more, but the safety and security for the clients is worth it. They all are happy to do it because it's one more thing they don't have to worry about.
Yep.
But yeah, there's been a lot of vulnerabilities found in the last few weeks. I should start keeping a list, but there are other websites who do that better.
AI SEO had one, I think about 3 weeks ago.
You got to
Yep.
contribute your dollar. You said the 2-letter acronym.
Right, dollar in the jar.
Let's toss in $1 in a jar.
Uh,
All in one SEO.
Yeah, spelling it out now, that's safe.
yeah.
No, it's not AI, it's all in one. SEO, the plugin.
God, I never heard anybody try to be so skinflint over a lousy dollar when you said AI.
Well, I'm on pension, man.
He's
Well,
on a fixed income.
Starting
I
a
think-
new business, so,
The other thing is the fact that the number of hacks and exposures of private information is climbing rapidly.
Yeah.
And I think it was from 2022 to about a week ago in 2023, already the number of breaches in that portion, basically first 3 months of 2023, was already double all of 2022. Okay. I mean, there's an awful lot of people out there that are dedicating all of their time and effort to breaching sites. And it's, the old days, it was, they just want to get even if it's just a lousy little WordPress blog, if they can get it, they can use it for redirects and infections and whatnot. But now they're going after databases of information, and they're selling those things for big bucks on the dark web. And then not even all on the dark web.
yeah, they get in, take them out, don't even leave any trace when you do that, and
Yep.
sell them all over the place.
Well, yeah, several
And go
times.
and get them anytime you want.
Yep. But it's getting to be a much worse situation. By the way, I've got a membership on, and I just went blank, info something or other, on a webinar coming up on the 20th of April that I'm going to be sitting in on. talking about password protectors, things like LastPass and RoboForm. I use RoboForm. I think it's a good one. LastPass is another good one. But apparently, those and others are taking tremendous effort that they're defending against to breach them. And there are, there's having RoboForm, for instance, does you no good if you're using the same password on 6 or 8 or a dozen or 200 sites. If you're using this generator and you're using a 12 or 16 character password, it's a whole lot safer. But even at that, what used to take, a few years ago, it used to take upwards of 430 years to break an 8-character password. Now it counts like 11 seconds.
Yeah.
And a 16-character password is only good for like maybe 8 hours. So if there's a concentrated effort to breach that password, because the computers are so much faster and they're getting smarter, now they can run several parallel operations and they'll talk to each other. So I don't have to try this combination because Unit 12 over here has already tried that combination. So it's gotten, security is a major issue. And if you're running a business and you're living off the income from your business, this needs to be one of the major considerations. And it always seems to be one of the last things that and accessibility, one of the last things that gets considered. And accessibility is another item that is growing dramatically. The number of lawsuits over accessibility compliance is growing exponentially.
Right.
There's ambulance chasers out there that are just looking for websites that don't have an accessibility policy, that don't handle basic things. And if you're not paying any attention to accessibility, you need to be talking to somebody to help you out, because it's already critical. And it's not a matter of if you're ever going to get hit, it's a matter of when you're going to get hit.
They can get you just for not having the array on the forms.
Not
And
any
it's
part, Carrie?
so easy to go out there and scan 100,000 websites to see which of them don't have it.
It's markup for like headless browsers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, text readers, that kind of thing.
The big problem there is a lot of the plugins, especially on the WordPress side, that people are using for things like forms, make that very hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't make, you're better off finding a new plugin, a whole new set of forms that already take those kinds of things into consideration.
Or just write a regular form, put the array in it, and use PHP to process it.
Yeah, but how many people can program on PHP anymore?
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're using
Yeah.
plugins. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that, and then you've got all the different overlays that people are marketing out there, claiming that they will make you compliant,
See,
and
yeah,
they won't.
one of the things that was good about hosting in the, like, way back in the day, they usually had a CGI script you could use to process forms.
Yeah.
It's at least a form where you could get a phone number and an address or whatever, right? Like enough information. And I don't know why they quit doing that.
because it was a vector for server compromises.
Mm. That makes sense.
I mean, you look at companies like GoDaddy, they lose whole racks and rooms full of servers to compromises all the time. And if, you may think you're secure, but if somebody's gained access to the actual hardware, or this, underlying layer, it doesn't matter how secure your website is.
Yeah.
I will only say this. If you're assuming anything about GoDaddy hosting, good luck with that one.
Mm.
Well-
we have a company rule. We will not take on clients who are on GoDaddy. They
Yeah.
have to move.
Yeah.
We-
Steve, do you help them transfer?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
In fact, we, in a lot of circumstances, we'll actually do the transfer free of charge.
Yeah, because they're using WordPress anyhow, and you're just moving in images in a database.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah,
most
it's
part.
just, I've had too many clients have their website hacked while being hosted by GoDaddy.
Yep.
And we can even go in and show the GoDaddy text where it came from and how they got in and what other sites are also compromised. And they just give you a blank stare. It's not their
Yeah.
problem.
Yep. Well,
GoDaddy says,
it wasn't us.
whoa.
Well,
When
you know,
you're on shared hosting and you set up a brand new website and it's already compromised before you finish the install,
Yeah, if you're on shared.
it's probably not the software. It's probably the server.
Yeah. Well, and then you got the lovely folks at Endurance Insurance Group, EIG, that own, they've almost a monopoly on hosting global. God, they got like over 200 holdings, I think, now hosting companies. And they follow the same game plan. They got two game plans. One is we'll buy this hosting company and we'll leave them and their staff alone and let them handle their billing rates and all that. And then the other is we're going to fire most of the staff and we're going to make them use our billing rates and follow our standards. And once that first one that was doing just fine and making them money reaches a certain point, they get pushed over into the other pile and they trash their staff and change everything out. And so moving from one EIG hosting company to another EIG hosting company is, you might as well just go wet the bed. I mean, you're going to get as much satisfaction out of it because they're all playing the same game. They got the same security standards and they have the same attitude.
Yeah.
Screw
But
you, pay me.
what do you expect for $10 a month? I mean, or even $5, you know, like.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for, and that's usually what those companies offer.
And if you get enough of those companies out there, it pays for them. Doesn't pay for the site owner, but they don't care.
Oh yeah, they make money. You're like, that's a license to print money, especially if you don't care if they're slow servers, slow loading pages. People who are going to pay that kind of price, they're not worried about traffic or any of that stuff, probably. Or they wouldn't be paying $5 or $10 for hosting.
I think they don't know. A lot of people.
Vast majority of people don't know or understand the technology, and they have no desire to learn it. And don't blame them.
But common sense should tell you if you know, you go one place and it's $30 and you go another place and it's $5.
Yeah, but you
You're
gotta,
going to get a difference in service.
I mean, you can use the same analogy with cars though.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, you can go out and buy a Chevy for 10 grand, or you can go out and buy a Lamborghini for, a couple $100,000. They're both still cars. So what's the difference?
Okay. Well, I would
I'm
argue
just saying
that
that's
they're
the way
both running
When
on-
do you ever get it out of first gear?
a lot of people just, they don't want or don't have the need or the desire to learn all of
Yeah.
that technical
Well,
stuff. And I don't blame them.
I get that, Steve. I get that, but common sense should tell you the other part of it, right? And that's seems to be in a short supply these days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, that's always true, Jerry.
So just one note on thing that we're not going to talk about. You can now block the collection agent for it using robot text.
You can
Barry
block
Adams posted,
going forward, but it's not retroactive, right? I mean, you can't.
No.
Now they've already got your.
Well, unlikely.
However, it's kind of like a patent, right? Or a trademark or a registration. If you put that up and then they collect it, or if they've collected it, you ask them to remove it. Yeah, I think they have to. or they're going to end up in court. And that's where I think it's going to end up, because what people haven't figured out yet, and yeah, well, we're not supposed to talk about this, so I won't.
No, go ahead and talk about it. Doc doesn't.
He whose name shall not be spoken.
Yeah. Well, it can't do citations. That's what I was told. In fact, I wanted to work on one and have it doing citations, and the guy said, well, nobody can do that yet. Well, only a few people can do that yet, and I guess they're not sharing.
I got barred one time out of maybe 50 attempts that I tried. One time it gave me a citation. Okay.
But they can't give you a citation because they don't have the link.
No, I'm talking about it gave me the text, okay, the anchor of
But
the
not a
citation.
link to that.
But only one time did it even do that. And I've seen a number of other people that have done a lot more playing with Bard and ChatGPT than I, that said that they got a bunch of citations that were
Fake.
hallucinations.
Yes, they're fake because they can't do it.
I did.
Someone
This
we all
was,
know is actually working for a company working on these models, and that's who told me that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that as probably a good chance it's not a myth.
Well, it's likely if they didn't index where they got all the information from, if they just poured all the data into a bucket and didn't index the source material, which is short-sighted on their part, depending on how you view this.
Yeah, I've actually looked into how they do it, Steve, and they actually strip all the HTML out of it before they do anything.
Right.
Okay. That's why I'm trying to figure out another way to do it, where we do it another way and we have that information already.
Right.
And I'm going to learn how to do the parameters and all that. It's going to be interesting.
It'd be fun, yeah.
Well, it's like learning a new thing. You know what? Just another thing, Steve. Did you read the post by Bill Gates talking about the first time he saw?
Yeah, I scanned
AI?
it. Yeah, I scanned it a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he said he's only seen 2 other things like it. Right? Guess what they were? The GUI, right? That he was shown and ended up in Windows. Yeah. And the second one was the internet. So basically, and yeah, so I thought that was pretty good. And he basically said what I kind of thought for a while, that everything's going to change now, right? And that this thing is stupid as a fence post, and what people are giving it attributes of GAI, which is general artificial intelligence, not GPT, which is generative predictive text.
You're doing very different critters.
Be heavy on the predictive text. So basically, all it does is predict what the best word is to go in next to the word that it just put.
all right.
Based on the input. So, yeah, it's not very intelligent. I think when you hear about LLMs, like Bloomberg released one with like billions of parameters in it. And I'm pretty sure that will probably answer questions and stuff too. Like history of the stock market and that kind of stuff.
Right.
No, it's going to be interesting to see the development over the next handful of years. I don't think we're talking a decade or 2 out. I think we're talking, 2 or 3 years probably tops before we're starting to see some major stuff.
Do you know what came out the other day? a plugin by Shopify that runs on Chat GPT,
Yep.
and you could basically make it provided links to go and buy stuff on Shopify.
Oof.
And it's what? A browser extension or a plugin using GPT, Chat GPT plugin. But here's the thing, you don't actually need Chat GPT. That's one way to do it, but there's chain or language. There's a Python scripts that will do the same stuff.
Well, and there's a lot of the builders that are out there. I know Divi just announced they're integrating or have integrated Chat GPT into their builder, and you can have it suggest product descriptions and titles and all of that stuff, which I'm not really all that against, because there are a lot of people who are building their own website who don't understand so much about the technology, and they're building very basic websites that don't perform.
Mhm.
And this is another tool that they can use to help them.
Well, and if you added some parameters that told it SEO title should be this length with entities here, here, and here, and there's a lot of things that you could put right into it. And that's where I think that's where it's going. In my opinion, search engines are going to lose a lot of business, because why pay for ads and stuff when you can pay a browser? Or, I'm not sure. This is what I thought was really cool, different, and setting up a mobile situation is Chat GPT, their plugin. You can only get Shopify's plugin off of where, Steve?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to Shopify.
Oh, Chat GPT, the site. So they're acting like Apple with its little moat.
So if you have Shopify, Chat GPT will describe your whatever.
You can ask it, I want to buy this, and it'll show you. Like the one I saw was wallpaper. So
Okay.
anybody could take their database, right, and put it into a Chat GPT plugin and offer it in there. In like, this is where it's going to get weird, because some stores will say, you know what, I'm just going to build it all myself, offer it on my site, and they're done. Like, and okay, so when I buy stuff, I don't go and search much anymore. If I want computer products, I go to Best Buy. I can see the store from here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get a plug-in from Best Buy, and that covers all my appliances, like a whole bunch of stuff. So then I also buy stuff on Amazon, get the Amazon plug-in, okay, and then I get a Walmart plug-in, I'm covered. I don't need to go to a search engine, anything. Everything's right on my computer.
Oh, I
I-
see what you're saying, but not everybody does it like that, Terry.
Yeah,
Right, but Amazon sells a lot of stuff to people who are prime customers. That's why I go there.
Mhm.
Free shipping.
But
I think you're right that the search engines are going to lose a lot of income, because it won't be necessary to use the search engines anymore. So they're gonna lose their search base, which means they're gonna lose advertising. However, I think it's important to remember that they're gonna find some other way to make up that income stream.
Well, sure.
So
they're gonna
now,
sell-
if you
they're
go to
gonna sell-
Google and you search for a thingy, right?
So Google
The
sells.
first thing that comes up is usually, what do they call it? Carousel of stuff. And it's all on Amazon.
Hey, you know what? They could also just put a plug-in in their browser, Chrome, and offer all kinds of stuff right through that.
Yep.
Tell all the stores that are now in the merchant thing, instead of selling them ads, they'll just take a little money right off the top.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's what they've been
Yeah.
trying to do with Google Pay.
Steve, they've been set, they've not like, okay, I'm not gonna go there, but yeah. I won't be surprised if, yeah. It's gonna change. And that's why I think, SEO is gonna, like search engines aren't gonna be used for a lot of things that they are now.
Well, like always, SEOs are going to have to adapt, and it may not be for search engines anymore. But I do not buy into the theory that AI is going to kill SEO. I'm sorry. It may kill our focus on just search engine, for organic. Yeah, but if we adapt, there's still going to be an awful lot of potential business out there for those of us that are optimizing clients' marketing. Okay.
Okay, so right now the channels are what? PPC, organic, social, right? On the internet. That pretty well covered the big three. Well, now there'll be a fourth one, ChatGPT, and it's going to take the place of the search engine, and Google will end up like Facebook or that kind of thing.
MySpace.
Not that far, Doc, but it's not going to be the same company. And stuff like free analytics gone.
Well, I think that's probably what has been the inevitability of this happening at some point is probably what's been behind Google diversifying so much into different technology and different aspects of different money making schemes. They probably knew that they were on borrowed time.
Well, they have one of the leaders in AI and GAI and all that stuff. So you would think that someone over there knows something about it.
Yeah, you kind of think so.
Yeah,
Certainly know a lot more about it than we do.
yeah. They're building robots too, right, Steve?
Yeah.
DeepMind?
Yeah.
And satellites.
Yeah. Oh, Doc, you'd be interested in this. You know what those to kind of give you an idea of what an LLM's like? It's like the oh shit, no, it's gone. Okay, it'll come back to me later. It was something that you and Dave were working on for a while after one of the upgrades on Google.
Well, now I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, the vector stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I doubt that vectors are going to go away as being still a major tool for the algos. Although, when we start, for instance, when quantum computing actually becomes a workable, omnipresent thing, it's gonna blow the entire market away, because when you can start doing what used to take 2 weeks in milliseconds now, and the ability to do so much more with a piece of hardware without the generated heat and all the cooling requirements and the massive storage requirements. You don't have to store it on a hard drive. You can store it digitally in memory and a bit of RAM now. Think about, I remember when I bought my first 5 megabyte hard drive, it was as big as a bread box, literally.
Yeah.
And cost $12,000. And was obviously external because it was bigger than the freaking desktop computer. Okay. And now I can have a 16 gigabyte USB stick for $2.89.
Then to carry it around in your pocket
Yeah.
as a keychain.
It's just, it's just unreal. So I think when quantum computing becomes a real thing, and we're very, very close, that's going to dramatically change. The whole thing is, everything that we're used to working in and around is in a constant state of flux. It's going to change. And we're seeing a number of very dramatic changes hitting more or less simultaneously. It's going to be a whole new game. So the guys that are trying to stay on the cutting edge or see what might be coming and preparing for it are going to be the ones that'll survive, or at least survive longer. Anyway, I can see right now we're going to need a bigger tip jar.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? Did you see there was a $112 million seizure by the Department of Justice for
For the websites they yanked.
the pig butchering scams, yeah, which is a Chinese-based crypto scam. That apparently they went to great lengths to create a lot of websites and false businesses and whatnot to be able to show people, and then they didn't just immediately pitch you and with a cold call. They contacted you, connected, talked about other stuff, built a rather in-depth relationship before they ever even mentioned crypto, and then they had all these convincing bits of data to show you, and they took in they took in more than 112 million. The DOJ seized 112 million, and that was this Chinese Pan scheme.
Well,
Pig butchering, being the pig in the scam, was the victim. So more power to them. Interested to see what they use that 112 million bucks for, though.
Pizza party.
Yeah.
That probably almost pays the lawyers they had their prosecution.
Well, we're about out of time. What else have we got coming down this week? Something to keep an eye on. I saw something earlier, but I thought I had saved it. But I guess I didn't. Anyway, inforisktoday.com is the website for these. If you're interested in signing up, they got a newsletter and you get an email every day or week or however you decide to set it up. And there's a very disturbing climb in the number of breaches. And they got some good articles. I've been following them for a couple of years, and I usually find something I can sink my teeth into.
do you think that's going to be part of, say, a digital marketing agency's job when they're, creating websites and designing websites for businesses, that they're keeping those sites secure as well?
Well, I think that some agency already do that.
Mhm.
The problem, and even some developers do that to a degree. The problem is when you've got your security guy, you've got your privacy guy, you got your developer, you got your marketing guy,
Yeah.
and they're often at odds with each other.
Yeah.
And the more cooks in the kitchen, the harder it is to get a consensus and agreement. And you pretty much have to have somebody at the head of the table who is conversant in all of those, to say, stop arguing, just shut up and do what they said. And that's
Yeah,
not going
you
to happen
do.
very
That's why I asked that question.
That's not going to happen very easily. It's not going to happen very often because now you're looking to have a director in charge who is knowledgeable in all of that. And that's kind of a tall order.
It's a very tall order.
You know, and you've got to have somebody who's fluent enough in all those things to understand where the business trade-offs are.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are going to be times where you have to give up SEO functionality for programming functionality and programming functionality for security, and finding that balance is a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And as often as and as poorly secured as most websites are on the internet, you know, and having that conversation at a smaller level with clients is even more of a challenge. So what do you
Yeah.
mean my website's not secure? Nobody's website is completely secure. Here, let me show you all the times the Pentagon got hacked or whatever. If somebody wants your stuff and they dedicate some time to it, they're getting in.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The trick is, how do you minimize that damage and recover from it? And that's something else a lot of clients don't want to pay for, is disaster recovery.
Yeah.
You know, it just, to have a real website that makes real money, it can get very expensive very quickly. And when you get a client emailing you and says, well, I want to build Amazon.
Yeah, good
right.
luck with that. Who's your client? Everybody.
I want all
Everybody, yeah,
I want all the
everybody wants
features that they have in what do you want to call it? They want to build something similar to like Uber. It's like, well, okay, you know, they've got millions and millions of dollars wrapped up in their development. And it's like, well, can't you just copy it? It's like, no.
Oh, man.
Well, that's the top of the hour, folks. I will
Have
put
a good
some
week,
stuff
everyone.
in the show notes, and anybody interested. Thanks for showing up. Everybody have a great week, and we will see you next week. As soon as I find where to kill the live. Well, that disappeared. If I had just had a few more monitors and a few more tabs open, this would be easy, right?